And I'm wishing everybody the best of the new year. And it's good to be back. We took a break in December so that everybody can concentrate on enjoying the holiday. But now we are back to the grind. So how has it been since the year started? Yes. John, how's your end? Are you there? You are muted.
Yes, I was muted.
Okay, I said, how's the year been at your end? How are you guys doing?
I mean, first month is about to end, so
the
that is
longest month of the calendar.
ever. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
From my own point of view, which I'm sure by the time it gets to a 360 degrees appraiser, it will be lesser by maybe 15%. So
What will be less by?
from
Okay.
my own point of view,
Yes.
75% good so far.
Okay.
Plans
Nice.
in gear. Some things are failing, some things are working.
That's
So
how life is.
we are
That's how life
pivoting,
is.
and then we'll see.
Christabel, how's the year been for you so far?
Well, so far so good, I would say. We've made plans for the year, so we are trying to be sure that we grab everything that we've planned on working on. But some has been dropped. We hope to pick up along the line, but generally, so far so good.
Great. Miss Moyaki, how has the year been for you so far?
Well, so far, well, I'm just starting the year anyway. So far, so far it's been good. Let me just put it that way. It's been good.
Okay. Fabulous. So, like you have all hinted, the year has started, and the reason why we are here on this session this evening is to see how we are in a position to definitely win the year. Like you probably have heard us talk about, for those of you that were here towards the end of last year, is that you don't succeed by accident. You don't drift towards your destination. So last year, we spent the last 3 episodes of last year focusing on planning for the new year, looking back to look forward. And we massaged that right round, left back, to be sure that we had enough opportunity to prepare for it. If there's anybody here who wasn't part of that process, I invite you to please go and watch, because this program is coming from the stable of DLI, Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative. We are an NGO that has a passion and a mission to transform the world, one man at a time, one community at a time. And what we did last year was to spend time creating more like a DIY session where we went first iteration, second iteration, just to prepare everybody for this new year. The program we're on is called HeyCoach, and it's designed to be a coaching service that is on the go for anybody who is interested in learning from others, so that you do not have to repeat the same mistakes. That's all that is all about. So it is not really a training. It's about sharing experience. It's about bringing everybody together to say, how can we leverage on what others have done, what they did right, what they've not done right, and learn. And as you can see, every single time we are intentional to start on time, and we look forward to everybody participating And please, if you have to participate, let's try to be brief so that we do not choke the time and so that we can make the most of the opportunity. Okay, so what are we starting with this year? Like you have all said, what we are starting with is winning 2024. Winning 2024. Whether you were part of the last 3 sessions or last 3 episodes for last year, or you are just joining us today, you can win this year. What we want to explore for the next hour thereabout is to see how that process of winning 2024 gets very intentional and it is no longer random. That's all we want to do this evening. And so, before we go forward, I want to ask this question. If you're in a quiet place, you can please unmute. What exactly does it mean to win? Yes, what does it mean to win? Anybody?
To be successful.
Thank you. Successful, yes. To win means what? What does it mean to win?
So from my own perspective, one can say for that product to finally be a success.
Yes. For the product to be a success, yes. What else? What does it mean to win?
To have more than, to plan some goals and be able to go above maybe with
To
all
even
odds.
achieve them.
Yes,
To even
right.
achieve them. So to be
Yeah.
successful, to get results, to set goals, to go after them, to achieve the goals, to bring results, to be victorious, to gain. Okay, so when we talk about winning, therefore, what we are saying is this year, if you have set goals, how do you turn them into results? If you have not set goals, get going to set goals. Why? Because if you don't aim at anything, don't worry, you will never miss. But the sad story is also that you will never hit. You can't hit where there's no target. So if you try, you may fail. But if you do not try, you have already failed. So the challenge is, don't saunter through this year. If you have been a part of the journey, we want to see how we can then activate the year together. Some of us are already flying through a lot of the things that we said. And you can see how many hours, we are building new routines, we are changing old routines, we are starting new things, we are reaching out to those that can help. We are investing 1 hour here, 1 day there, 1 minute there, all towards building a momentum. That is the agenda for this evening. So if you aim at nothing, you will never miss. No hit, no miss, once there is no aim. So if you ever have any hope to win, you must have an aim, which is why I said, if you were not part of the last 3 sessions of last year, please go to our YouTube channel, Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative. You will see those 3 episodes there and many other resources there. But those last 3 episodes for last year prepare us for this session. So this session is just to say, if you've been following us from last year, how do we ensure that you don't get stuck? Because this last leg is very important. Some are very quick and good at making those plans. They sit down, they draft the plan, they run after it, and then they get demobilized by fear. They get paralyzed by anxiety. And then the more, like the law of physics, the more inertia sets in, the more you need a bigger force to overcome the inertia. So the message is, don't be afraid of losing. One of the reasons why many people don't want to set targets is they are thinking, what if I don't achieve it? But hey, what if you do? What if you even exceed the target? And sure, you can. And like I said severally, the value of setting targets, setting aim, and hitting them is not so much about the outcome. It's about the journey. It is not so much about what you are getting. It is about who you are becoming. So the agenda has to be that you are not too consumed with fear, because fear is a demobilizer. Fear can paralyze. So don't be afraid of losing. In real life, there is nothing like failure. In fact, failure is the only thing that is failure is when you give up. And I've been doing a lot of reprogramming for myself and for those who are close to me. And I keep asking the question, where did we get to the point that we think that because you attempted something and you did not get it to work, you have failed? Who did that to us? Where did that come from? Can you think of anything you have learned as an individual? Anything, from learning how to walk, to learning how to eat, to learning how to button your shirt, to learning how to brush your teeth, to learning how to drive, learning how to use PowerPoint or anything. You have a new system. What is that thing that you got and you became an expert from day one? Tell me one thing. So if you don't hear anything at all today, know that failure only exists in your mind, and that is when you stop trying. Because life wasn't designed for you to pick up anything. I mean, just tell me the most gifted person. I'm into music. I'm currently learning how to play the keyboard. I've been in music now for the better part of 30 years. But I still have to go through the process of playing lesson 1, lesson 2, and practice and practice and practice. And then some bars you will miss, then you go over it again. And then you do, then you go over it again. You do, you go until you master it. That's exactly the same thing it takes to win in life. So don't approach 2024 with any anxiety. Number one, the expectation is not that you are going to get everything straight. Number two, the expectation is not you are even going to achieve everything you've said. The expectation is that you can even achieve significantly more. There is more in this year than you can see right now. And that is why they say that fortune favors the brave. So the message is there's nothing like failure. Everything you are doing is practice. Everything you are doing is growing. Everything you are doing is learning. So get rid of fear. Get rid of fear. Completely get rid of fear. See yourself as being on a journey towards mastery. Mastery takes practice. Practice means you will miss it, you will get it, then you will miss it again, and then it will look like, I played this piece just now, and then you go again until you then get consistent at it. That's the way it works. So let that be at the back of your mind as we go through this session. Now, if you have been here, you know that normally we try to go with stories. So let's tell a simple story, all right? We are talking about Mark. Mark was part of 2023. And when he saw how 2023 went, he was not interested in repeating the same mistake in 2024. So he joined our HeyCoach session and then spent the last 3 months of 2023 preparing for 2024. And the exercise was very interesting for him. He very much enjoyed it. And then he looked forward to the new year with enthusiasm. But now, as 2024 has dawned, all of a sudden, Mark is now getting anxious. Mark is beginning to feel like, yes, I've set these goals. What do I do? Can I do this? Life is not so straight. This one that I have put everything, do this on Monday, do this every Wednesday, do this every week. Can I? Am I able to? It's because of Mark that we are here. We want to give Mark and everybody on this call, everybody in this session, we want to give them the confidence that it takes to get started, knowing fully well that this is rehearsal, this is practice. This is practice toward perfection. Okay? So, how do you get to the point where if you are starting this year and you are anxious, or maybe anxiety also was the reason why you did not make enough effort to plan for 2024, this is the opportunity you have to break those yokes and then to get going. So what are we talking about? We are talking about a few concepts. We are saying there must be a goal. Goal speaks to what you are chasing, what your ambition, what are you trying to accomplish, what aim are you running after? Okay? So if you do not have a goal or goals for 2024, I encourage you again, please go to the YouTube channel, Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative. John will drop it in the group chat. And watch and do the needful to prepare a plan. If I ask you on this call now, 2476 multiplied by 5897, you are not going to try to do that multiplication by head. You will ask for paper, you ask for pen, and then you want to write it so that visually you can see, you can retain and do the calculation. Then for God's sake, how do you think that you can run this year successfully if you cannot take the time to go through and write? So you have to have a goal. If there is no aim, you can't hit. If there is no aim, you can't miss. The only meaning is that all you are doing is just drifting and floating through life. So the first thing, if you want to win 2024, is to have a goal. That's the first concept. The second concept is to have a plan. The plan is not in your head because your emotions will swing. Because even sometimes you will not remember what you thought that looks so clear right now. 2 days, 2 hours from now, you may be struggling to remember. So it has to be a plan. A plan is a document. You do it in advance. It's not something you make up as you go. You do it in advance. Somebody here wants to go to school this year. You need to have sat down to say, what do I need? I need to get admission. What do I need to get the admission? I need to write the IELTS. I need to write GMAT. I need to write this. When are the days for the exams? These are the dates. Based on what I studied and where I am, how many months or weeks preparation do I need to be ready to the exam? You work it back. That's what I call reverse engineering. If you go to the YouTube channel, you'll see a life plan series there. Now, if this is the number of months or weeks I need to prepare, how many hours per day? For me, by my schedule, is it easier for me to do in the morning? Is it easier for me to do in the evening? And then you try to form routines. Until you can routinize it, it is difficult for you to do it. All of this come by planning. You do it ahead. You are intentional. You take decision. I love this last one. You think and then you decide. You think, you weigh, you think, you weigh. Can I do this in the morning? Should I try and do it at 4 a.m. before anybody wakes up? Or am I a night person and do it after everybody has gone to bed? You weigh. My Tuesday, this is what happened. My Thursday, that's what happened. This is better for me on a Wednesday. You mix it. It is intentional. If you're on this call or you are watching this video, you don't succeed by accident. nobody drifts toward their destination. Even when you have set the goal, you still many times have to swim against very strong current to get there. So after goal must be a plan. There has to be a plan. Then after the plan, you must now do something. And the focus of this session is more around the act. So the goal and the plan was what we tried to do September, October, November last year. This year, January now, like John said, is about to end. If you are going to win, you must take action. You must do something. You have to move. Nothing moves until we move it. Nothing gets done until we do it. It is not about wish. It is not about plan. It is not about goal. It's about act. That is where the rubber meets the road. So if you don't move, you can't get the result that you want. The focus of this session, therefore, is to say, what do you need to start to move? How do you get to that point where you move? What is stopping you from moving? How do you overcome? Because like you can see on my screen, the only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. In real life, you work before you can win. You work before you can succeed. So the question we are therefore trying to answer is, how do you get to the point where you can start to act? Now, the first thing and fundamental is what I shared before I get into the research, which is the fact that don't let the fear of failure hold you down. The only time you fail is when you stop trying. Because the way the world was designed is that you practice your way into perfection. There's hardly anything you can pick once, no matter how skillful or gifted you are. Even the most talented of us have to work on it. So if you can get that mindset settled to say that it's okay if I don't get it the first time. In fact, don't even expect to get it the first time. In fact, even when you get it the first time, get ready. You will still miss it before it becomes part of you. So if that is settled in your head, I hope that encourages you to move. Now, before I get into the core of the conversation, what does research say? Research has said that there's something that is called the fresh start effect. What is this fresh start effect? It is this new burst of energy. It's a phenomenon that is connected with events that have to do with time. You know how we all feel once it is the end of the year to the beginning of the new year. There is a way our mind is. We are very open. Or it's a birthday, or you are starting a new job, or you are moving to a new house, or somebody just got married. There is something about when you have a time-defined milestone. And research has shown that it's a very good state of mind where you can shift your life, where you can move your life into a different gear. If you don't use it, by now already the New Year effect is wearing off. Once you get into February, all of a sudden, if you're not careful, it becomes business as usual. So you still have a few days, maybe weeks, 1 or 2, to leverage on this fresh start effect to drive yourself from the inside. Because if you take away talent and opportunity, in fact, talent and opportunity cannot stand. The fundamental thing that drives success is your ability to believe in yourself, coordinate yourself, regulate yourself, manage yourself, and then the ability to stay with it because there will be turbulence. Again, everything points to the fact that the world was not designed to go straight. Tell me anything. It took almost, I don't know how many years, almost 30 years before the first plane could be created to fly properly. Only God knows how many years that's taken us to get to where we are now. We are talking about artificial intelligence. The world is not designed to take off and go like that. A child is born, it takes how many years before that child can walk, before that child can talk, before that child can even button. So do not measure yourself by the fact that you didn't get it the first time. Hello, it wasn't designed to work that way. It was not designed to work that way. So if you understand this fresh start effect, then you will be seizing the opportunity of the new year 2024 to make this year count. You must make this year count. Don't just be counting the years. Make the year count. Believe that you have the capacity to make it work. The fact that you don't have to do anything before January will pass and February will come, or February will pass and March will come, is not the excuse for you to just let yourself be floating like a balloon. You have a responsibility to seize the steering and get going. And I've said this many times, but it bears repetition. Please remember, every champion was once a rookie. Every champion was once a rookie. Every champion is a rookie that refused to give up. So do not think less of yourself because you have not started. One of the things I'm trying to do this year is learn how to code. Not because I see myself ever sitting down and writing code, but I want to understand how that world works. And the truth is, the people who are currently coding, there was a time they were like me. So there's nothing to intimidate me. There's nothing special. Every champion was once a rookie. So you have a choice to either, from this point, make up your mind to seize 2024, run after it, or continue to stay on the side way and wish, but never take a step or never move a muscle. The choice is yours. And that is why I'm going to pause for a few minutes. I need you to get inside yourself. If you're in a place where you can close your eyes, just make up your mind to say, this year, I'm going to give it a go. If you can talk, or mute your mic and say, I'm going to give it a go.
This year, I'm going to give it a go.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, if you can
This
talk,
year,
or
I'm
mute
going
your
to
mic.
give it a go.
Yes. Say it loud.
This year, I'm going to give it a go.
Fantastic. Yes. Yes.
This year, I'm going to give it a go.
Good. Yes. Affirm it. Say it loud. Hear yourself say it. Don't just think about it. Open your mouth and say it.
This year, I'm going to give it a go.
Fantastic. Yes. Any more? So, when
This
you
year,
have
I'm
said,
going to give it a go.
fabulous, when you have said, I'm going to give it a go, the meaning is that there's something you are chasing. So I repeat, if you have not put it together, it doesn't have to be 5 things. It doesn't have to be 20 things. It can just be one thing. Socialize more. It can be one thing. Read more. It can be one thing. Get a job. It can be one thing. Get married. It can be anything. But whatever you have set your hand on, from the goal, you create a plan. From the plan, you create activities. From the activities, you build routines. Goal, plan, activities, routine. Goal, plan, activities, routine. If you can walk it back that way, and you are then saying, I'm going to give it a go, the point of impact for the goal is at that point of activity. So somebody who says, every day, I'm going to spend 10 minutes on this, 20 minutes on that. I'm going to ensure I open up myself and talk to somebody new or interact with somebody or whatever it is that you are chasing, that is the activity. So when we say give it a go, it means you will not be waiting to feel like it. It means you will not be waiting to be forced to do it. It means you make up your mind to run after it. So how do you win 2024? We want to go into some specifics, like, when we talk, we break it down. And one of the things that holds people back from giving it a go that they are saying, is there a formula for life, really? Is there a formula that if I can just plug it in, everything will work out well? It's a yes and a no. In fact, I tell people around me there is no formula for life. There's only an equation. There are equations that we know. What's the equation? Set a goal, make a plan. From your plan, define activities. From activities, build routines. You will succeed. 100%. 100%. But how exactly that success will come is what nobody can tell. It is not a straight line. In the course of this week, I watched a guy. I don't know if anybody has heard about him. Bayo Omoboriowo. Anybody heard that name before? He was on channel this week. And that's what I was noticing him. If you know anything about him, please unmute and tell us what you know. Anybody heard about him?
I've read about him.
So what did you read about him, please? Or who is he?
I have heard about my
Sorry? Okay, you can't remember. Is anybody conscious of who he is?
He's a photographer.
Thank you. He was actually the last presidential photographer. He was a photographer for Buhari. Can you believe it when I say that guy said he hawked water in Mushin here in Lagos? Can you believe it when he said he doesn't know anybody, he is not connected to politicians, that he was very surprised when they said he was going to be the presidential photographer? But that is not the complete story. It sounds like he was sitting in his house and twiddling his fingers and then he was called. That's not how it works. That guy studied pure and applied chemistry. His plan was to go and work in the oil industry. Like me, he worked his NYSC to go and serve in Port Harcourt, only to be told that coppers are going to teach. And then he was drawn to photography. Guess what? For the first maybe 5-7 years of his life, he was doing photography pro bono for zero. He was just shooting anything. They are here. He said he was the official photographer for Occupy Nigeria. The guy was just making himself available, studying. He said after graduating from Unilag, listen, he had to go back to Unilag to squat just to learn how to use Photoshop. He kept working at it. DFID came to Nigeria. They were doing a program volunteering. His skill, his money, he was putting it in. One thing led to the other, and that's how we ended up in the presidential villa. And if there are people who have access to the president, his photographer is one of them. Even when the security people are not allowed to go in some places, the photographer is there to capture the moment. Guys, there is no formula for life, but there are equations that are already very, 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 very well established. If you don't aim, you can't hit. If you don't aim, you can't miss. It's your choice. So, if that is settled in you that this thing we are talking about is not random, many of you know my stories, and many of you know different stories that is the equation. The equation is about have something you are passionate about, and that's why I can't do without going back to purpose. That's where goals come from. Have something you are passionate about, commit yourself to it. Don't worry about how it will all add up. Just follow it and give it everything that is inside you. It's a matter of time. it's only a matter of time. It will add up. But if you are waiting to see the full journey before you start, you will never move. And the journey that looks straight may actually have a U in front. But for you to follow the road, and you will get there. So if you have been coming with us and you are worried about how to win 2024, here is what we put together as the blueprint. We've said this before. Find a goal. The goal is easier to run after when it is tied to your purpose. If you don't know your purpose, go to our YouTube channel. We have too many times there where we've spoken about purpose. Spend time to identify your purpose. This bio guy said he really didn't know where this was going to go, but just knew that he was drawn. Just find if there is something that is common to everybody who has achieved any success, it's the same story. I was watching something on Channel again this week, and they were talking about a guy came from Nollywood. I can't remember his name. He said he had worked in a bank. He did not know where his purpose was, but he just knew that he was not in this banking sector. And he kept running after it until he found his purpose in storytelling and in making movies. So people are lazy. If you want to win, you must be clear as to what your purpose is. You must have a goal. Your why must be clear. How that why will be expressed must be clear. I didn't say definite, but you must run after it until you get that clarity. You can't win 2024 if there is no goal. It will not matter what you achieve by the end of the year. The taste will be different. The taste is just different. If there's nothing you chase, even if you exceed your expectation, even if you exceed the result you will have gotten by chasing it, it tastes different. There is something about setting the goal and achieving it. So you want to win 2024, have a goal. If you have had a goal, don't worry about how stupid or how unrealistic it is. There's only one thing you need to do. Wake up every day and give it whatever you can. Don't worry. The more audacious your goal, the more likely you are going to make it. So don't try to reason it. Once you have tried to figure out what you can, and you can break it to the point of routine. Wake up every day and go after it. Give it a go. Give it a go. Give it a go. You will be shocked what will come out of it. So you want to win 2024, have a goal. If you had a goal, fantastic. If you have not, it's not too late to stop. Find a weekend, find 2 nights, find 3 nights, create that goal. Let that be something you are chasing this year. That's number 1. Number 2, make a plan. Break that goal into definite milestone. Get admission. Prepare for the test. Write the test. Find out when the application will open for admission. Put in the application. Just identify all those things ahead of time. That will help you to see what you need. That will bring clarity to your mind. So when you wake up every day, you are not rambling. You want to open a new shop. You want to start a new line. You want to start a new business. You want to change jobs. You want to write an exam. You want to, whatever it is you want to do, break it down. And the bottom line is to be able to build routine. If you can turn goal to plan to activities to routines, you have solved like 80% of the problem. Once you can add discipline and grit to it, it's only a matter of time. So you have goals, you have plan, then you take action. Not because you are waiting to feel that way, but because you have applied the discipline, whether you feel like it or not. Somebody said that champions do every day what amateurs do once in a while. Champions do every day what amateurs do once in a while. When you see people who win gold medals in Olympics, they don't do it occasionally. I saw a documentary on, where was it? Was it BBC? It was Sky Sports. There is this guy in the UK, I can't remember his name now. is now being labeled as the fastest accountant in the world. That guy is a child accountant in the UK. I think he's in his early 30s. He then realized that he has a gift for running. And now he's preparing to get into the Olympics team for Great Britain for the coming Olympics. And yet, he is still doing his 9 to 5 as an accountant. So when he's going to work, he will pack his tracksuit, pack everything. He goes to work. When he's done, he grabs something to eat, drives down to the track. His coach is waiting there. They put in the number of hours. These guys don't look at the weather. Go and read about Michael Phelps, one of the most decorated Olympic swimmers. Even when the pool is freezing, they have to swim. Think of the marathon runners. It doesn't matter what's going out there. They go out every day. So action is not about how you feel. Champions do every day what rookies do once in a while, what amateurs do once in a while. The question is, are you really interested in winning? Remember what I said, winning is achieving your outcome. Somebody here wants to make more money. So when we talk about your why, that's all. Can you imagine what your life will look like if you can make that money? Can you imagine what your life will look like if you can get that onto that program? That's the prize you are running after. So it cannot be based on how you feel about it. So you have goals, you have plans, you take action, and then you must build traction. You must track. How am I doing? Is there a syllabus? How far have I gone? You want to lose weight? How far have you gone? You want to make money? How much more are you making? You probably will not make everything at once. As you are tracking, you are checking, and you are saying, no, this evening is not working for me. Let me switch to money. This money is not working for me. Can I find some time during the midday? Midday is not working for me. Can I sleep early and wake up? And then put in 2-3 hours before everybody comes? Or can I arrive at the office early? Or can I stay back and wait till the traffic is gone? You are checking. And where you can find an accountability partner, fantastic. Somebody is checking with you. One of my senior friends is trying to write a book, and I'm his accountability partner. I don't really have the time yet to help him with his content, but he has told me to be his accountability partner. So I have his plan. All I'm doing is, by this time you should be here. When are we talking? He will come and be answerable to me. The fact that they have to answer to me puts him under pressure. We had our meeting like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, like last week or something, and it's on course as per the schedule. That is the power of accountability partner. You want to build traction. You want it to gain speed and become a part of you. That is the thing to do if you want to win. Traction is easier when you build routines. Traction is easier when you are intentional. So goals, plans, actions, traction, and then grit. Don't be deceived. It's not going to be straightforward. It is never a straight line. Never. Like I said, there is nothing that we know how to do that we picked it up and it started running. That is not how it works. You have to know that there will be days that will look like you are delivering zero results. I spoke about learning how to play the keyboard. Sometimes you play the piece and it looks like it's there, and then just go to check it and then it looks like you can't remember what you learned. But you can't give up. You have to keep at it. It comes with the territory. If you are waiting only for when you feel like it, you won't do it. So grit stays, you stay with it. When it looks like you are not making progress, you stay with it. I've been working on an app now for almost 4 or 5 years, and I've almost hit my head against the wall, and it's costing me an arm and a leg right now. For something I've been on for so long, I should have even been making, I should have forgotten I worked on that app. But that's it. You have to stay with it, because I'm going to finish and I'm going to write a book on my journey, right, building this app. So you have to stay with it. You must understand that it's a process. There's nothing you are doing now well that you picked up once. So if it has not happened before now, why are you beating yourself up because it's not happening right now? You've gone for an interview, it's not working well. Why are you beating yourself up? Learn, prepare, go again. You wrote that exam, you didn't pass. Don't beat yourself up. Right, and learn, prepare, go again. Go again. Your relationships are not working the way you want them to work. Own up on what it is that you need to fix. Do not make excuses. Identify your gaps. Go build new routines and start working on it. So you have to trust the process. If you don't trust the process, you will give up. And you know, when you give up, it doesn't solve the problem because the problem doesn't go away. In fact, it becomes overwhelming because you can't find a sense of progress. One of the elements of success is progress, but you can't have progress when there is no destination. And you cannot have progress when you are at the same spot. So to have progress, there must be destination and there must be effort made to move. Even if all you are doing is 1 inch, you are better off than staying where you are and complaining and feeling incapable and doing nothing. So goal, plan, action, traction, grit, and then celebration. Not when the final thing has come. Part of my goal this year is to rebalance my life. I spent the most part of my life hunting. Again, like some of you know my story, I had a rough journey as a child. And so, from very early, my life has been about hunting, going from one hunt to another, going from one hunt to another. As I catch this, I go after the next one. As I catch this, I go after the next one. From somewhere in the middle of last year, I started feeling like, wait a minute, for how long are you going to be hunting? So this year, part of my goal is to rebalance. I'm rebalancing my life. I want to get intentional with enjoying the journey now. Because before you know it, everybody is going to be old. So enjoy the journey. So when we say celebration, we are saying, don't wait until you get the admission. If what you've done is cover a chapter and you are comfortable about it, give yourself a pat on the back, 4 more to go. Do another chapter. You hit another milestone. Be intentional to soak it in that you are not where you are going, but you are not where you were. That consciousness of your journey gives you fuel for the distance, because it is not necessarily where you are going. It is not necessarily about what you are trying to achieve. It is about who you are becoming. And that who is internal. That's why you see millionaires who have the millionaire mindset. They can go bankrupt 10 times and they will come out 10 times successful. Because it is not about what you have, it's about who you are becoming. In one of my classes, I talk about the success equation. It is be, do, and get. When you fix how you are being, it helps you to know exactly what you should be doing. And if you do what you should be doing, getting becomes automatic. So, if you have made your plan for 2024, or you have not made your plan, this is your last, sorry, let me not say your last. This is another train that is offered for you to win in 2024. Set up a goal. Make a plan. Goal, plan, activities, routine. Take action. The emphasis on take action, not on one very big thing. For some people, the first action is the discipline to even get up at a particular time, to get up on time. Somebody here needs to get up at 4 to put in 1 hour of study every day before he or she gets into the bathroom to start preparing to go to school or to go to work or to do something. That action, that giving it a go, is to force him or herself to get up at 4. So when we talk about routines, we're talking about the small little things that you do every day. Are you interested? Will you sign up for this? Can you just imagine what December will look like if you can achieve all that you have in your heart? Can you imagine what December will look like through the lottery if you can win all the trophies that you have set out to do? Between here and there, this is what you need to get going. And then when December comes, it may not be exactly as you have planned, but I can assure you, you are going to be. You will be a much happier, satisfied person than you would have been if you just float through life. So that's the content for this week. It's open mic time. Anybody wants to share anything, tell a story, ask a question, seek for help, share your experience. The floor is open. Is there anybody here who has started running after anything this year? One of the targets I set this year is to learn French. And then I'm on Duolingo. And so I set a target to spend 30 minutes every day on that app. And I'm killing it. I'm killing it. And I'm beginning to speak French. Don't be surprised one of these days when you come here, I'm going to teach in French. And then you find an interpreter to come and interpret for you. But I'm just saying that these things are possible. Somebody here needs to exercise and be more fit. 5 minutes every day. Just work out. You don't even need any equipment. Buy a skipping rope. Just count. Today you did 10. Tomorrow you are doing 15, 20. It's about that routine. That routine. Somebody here needs to stop staying up late and go to bed on time. That routine. So it's about winning the year. There is no other way. Anybody wants to share experience of the little that has happened this year or something they have in the past that can encourage somebody to commit to it? Anybody?
So just like failing forward that you said, and when you started it, you were never taught. Maybe in school, you were taught to fail. Maybe in school or the school system. Failing in some things. Good people. What I noticed with we didn't win, so it was a very competitive one. So by the time we were submitting finally, our actually we had not been to win. But the experience was very, very, was a good for a good university.
Recording stopped.
So to say. Finally, even just say
Right.
stakeholder management.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you very much for sharing. Yes. Anybody has any story to share of how little effort? Grace, you went to Rwanda last year and you brought back something, even though you have not told me the story. How did that start and how did you end up at that point? When you started, did you ever imagine that it was going to? You refused to tell me that story though, but can you try and share if you have anything to share on that with us?
All right. Okay, sir. All right. So I knew January in 2023, I wrote to my diary and I said my top goal for that year was going to be East and travel out. So I circled it. And I wrote the strategy to travel out either through fellowship or scholarship or whatsoever. And even at the point whereby I got a lot of deniers and we call it love letter. When you get a kind of denial, we call it love letter. So despite all that, it came in November, even when I'd given up already. So that's how Rwanda came, and then a lot of other goodies attached. Thank you. So I'm on the road, so the noise. Thank you.
That's fine. So I'm just hearing this story. It's the same everywhere. There's an equation that works Set the goal, run after it. You are not in control of the when, you are not in control of the how, but you are in control of the what. And there is a way it just naturally happens. And I can tell stories upon stories upon stories upon stories about this. Yes. Anybody else has any story to share that can encourage anybody? Anybody?
Hi, tmak. Good evening, and everyone. So
Good
mine isn't
evening.
exactly a story, but just like you, I've taken up French classes this year, and just maybe we can be each other's what's the thing you called it?
Yay,
Accountability partner.
I have somebody to push me. Oh yeah, let's go. Let's go there. That's nice. So are you also learning
Okay.
French?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Are you also on Duolingo?
Yes, I am. Also, to add to that, I usually during the day I set my reminder for 11 a.m. So I branch out of Duolingo and check on YouTube for other tutors. So that way I learn faster. And if you have any other idea on how we can achieve our goal this year,
I'm not
welcome.
sure I know the person speaking.
This is Aziza.
Which Aziza now?
We met sometime last year at a retreat in Zaria.
Oh, okay. I remember now. Okay, I remember. You have my contact, yes?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic. Okay, so please, can you just drop a line for me? I'll be happy. I actually wish, so my life is not very structured because of what I do. Like
Okay.
today now, I'd have to crash a retreat to be here this evening because it goes up and down. But for me, the routine is every day I must spend minimum of 30 minutes. So sometimes it's 10 minutes here. I've not done any today now, so I must find that 30 minutes. So, but I really would like to pick it up. In fact, what I'm looking for is somebody you can speak it to, somebody you can get, it's by bantering and trying and missing. Again, that's the rule. It doesn't come perfect at once. It's about trusting the process and giving it a shot. So thank you very much, Aziza. Yes. Any other comment? So let me ask, if you have goals for this year, can you go to the chat and just do yes, 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 yes? If you have goal, just do a yes. If you have set your goal for this year, just do a yes. And if you have not, do a no. Because that is where it's starting from. Yes, I have 2, 3, 4. Is that all that I have for yes? Okay, for those who have said yes, if you have a plan, do another yes. You have a plan, do another yes. Do another yes if you have a plan. Okay, I asked another question. Is that plan written? Because some people carry plan in their head, like encyclopedia. If you have a written plan, do another yes. Written with milestone and dates and what you need. Okay. If you have broken that plan into activities, do a yes. Apply, write the exam, read, wake up early, do that, talk to somebody. Do another yes. Do another yes if you have that. Okay, if you have been able to create routines out of those plans, those activities, do another yes. Routine means, like Aziza said, this particular time I go to do this. That particular time I go to do that. If you have routines, and that's where it gets a bit tricky. But if you can, for me, my keyboard, my routine is morning or evening. I try to do first thing before I leave the house. If I can't get to do that for pressure, before I go to the bed, I must do 30, I must spend time on the keyboard. So again, I'm pushing you. So if you're on this call and you can't say yes, 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 yes to these things, please find time to do it. Because if you do, you are preparing yourself to have a very, very exciting year. Your year will be meaningful. Your year will be purposeful. When you wake up every day, you will know what you're chasing. And it's not because you will always feel excited or feel good about it, but it will keep moving you. And believe me, it is very sweet to win. It's very sweet to win. Anybody to share their feelings on anything they've won before? Anybody has any strong story, any strong memory of something they've chased that they won?
About okay, sorry. My noise, but then okay. So I remembered before I got into school as an undergrad, I told myself that I was going to get a scholarship, and then I stayed about I think 2 years or 3 years at home before getting admission. But I was always checking online for scholarships. So immediately I got into school. In fact, when I put in, I did not have a matric number, but because my mind was really made up, and when I went for exam, people were asking me, "How did you get it? You don't even have you don't even have matric number. You don't have." And the way God just did it, because I kept pushing and I knew that, yeah, there was a God factor also in it. So I got an oil and gas scholarship for 4 years consecutively. So I feel like most time when we push and then we are so determined, even God knows the way that He can always bring it to.
That is what happens. That's exactly what happens. If you have heard about the law of attraction, you are unleashing forces that are outside your control. Yes, anybody another story of how it feels to win. Because when you remember the joy of winning, it helps you to bear the discomfort that comes with the routines, that comes with the push. Yes, anybody another story to share?
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, so towards the end of last year, that was December, I had it in mind to pursue a career in tech, in IT, but it was far beyond my financial strength. And even at home, my parents, they were like, these things is expensive. But I was so determined that I wanted to pursue this thing. I got an academy and it was running a 2 million. Where would I see it? I was pushing. I packed my load, left Abeokuta, relocated to Lagos without having anything to hold on to, like, this is what I'm going to Lagos to do, or coming to Lagos to do. I just said I wanted to come in here and rough it out. When I got here, about a week after, I got a call from the same school that I could not afford. In fact, I already started launching out to get other schools that, maybe around something I can learn now, pay later, something. So I got a call that I should come in for an interview, that they are trying to see if they can have slots for scholarships. Then I went in for the interview, spoke the little English I can, say here and there. And 3 days after, I got a mail that I got the scholarship. I was looking at the message and it was like, really, if I had given up, because truly, if I wanted to listen to my parents, it's true, where will I get the money? But because I kept on pushing, I said I'm going to do this. And I moved in here, and then, thank God, it was just like there was something. Now that I am into this course, there's a force, because I know that I must not fail. So I'm giving it all it takes to make sure that I succeed in this journey. And because, the God factor, just like that sister said, is the fact she actually pushed me to talk, because truly I did not see the scholarship coming. It was just like, okay, someone said, okay, let's give this some people slots, and I can't really say I deserve it or not, but just thank God I was determined.
If you try, you may fail. If you don't, you have failed. Is real. Is real. Is real. It is real. It is until you commit to it and you are ready to do your side, you will not understand what we are talking about. Any more from anybody as we begin to wind down? If you try, you may fail. If you don't, you have failed. Any final story, experience to share from anybody?
Yes. Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Christopher.
So last year I actually wrote down in my book that I wanted to save a certain amount of money by December 2023. To me, it was not feasible because I didn't know how I was going to save that amount. But then I wrote it down and I just trusted God that he was going to do it. In middle of the year, it was looking as if I was not going to do it. I was not going to do it. And then from nowhere, God just started giving me business ideas. Oh, put your money here, buy this, resell later, do this, do this. And as at 12th of December, I had that money and more in my account. Like I broke into tears when I saw that money in my account.
Please, when
And it
can I
made
come?
me
When should I
audacious.
come? When should I come? Please, please. I like this kind of
It made me
testimony.
so
Let's come and praise God with you now. Ah.
like this time around, I said, God, if you could do that one last year, you would do more. So now the plan, what I wrote down in my book this year is I'm even afraid, but I know God is going to do
That's
it.
how
So
it
thank you.
works. There is something about having, I do not, if when you are driving on the road and nobody's asking you to look out for anything, you don't see anything. But imagine they say that every green vehicle you see on the road, you get 10 million naira, you get 1,000 naira or 10,000 naira. All you need to do is just identify the green vehicles on the road. What happens? You are wide awake. You see all the green vehicles on the road. It's the same thing. There's something about the mind. When you don't channel it, it just free, just drifts, it just floats. But when you channel it, it can lead you to tremendous value. I do not want to bore you with the repetition of my story. One of my major trophies last year was the completion of my MSc psychology that I started in UI. And I was determined to finish it. And the drama that it finished, how I managed to finish with that grade and that kind of result is incredible with the amount of work that I do. But once your mind is there, I mean, the part of that story I want to share is randomly, I've been thinking of, I need to finish this thing. I've written I took my time to write my project because I wasn't just interested in the certificate. I wanted to really do a proper research. So people were just doing all sorts. That wasn't my interest. And I was determined to finish it last year. These things look random. And after I was done with my supervisor, something just pushed me on a Monday afternoon to just call somebody to say, please, what is next? I have finished. My supervisor has given me approval to print. Only for that person to say tomorrow, there's going to be defense. I'm in Lagos. This is UI. There's going to be defense. How? Defend what? Project I've finished since January. This was towards the end of the year. How? My first instinct was, I'll do it next time. I don't have the energy. I mean, I'm not interested. Whose blood they want to suck? How am I supposed to do it? This was Monday evening, and it's external defense, external examiner. So if you don't go there, you cannot just show up and think that somebody would do it for you. Lo and behold, after I dropped the call, I just got encouraged to say, oh, this thing is close. So you better just push it through and just know that you have put it behind you. To cut a long story short, though, me with my head inside work and plenty things, project that I had to go and read again to even remember. I went, I had to pay for arrears of this paper. Long story short, I finished. I had an A in that project, and the program was completed. You have no idea how full. In fact, those who knew me, many of them are excited that how did I manage to finish? If you know the kind of work that I do and the kind of thing in this my small head. So it doesn't go straight. You don't need to see the entire staircase or the entire steps. Just the one in front of you, put your step there, the second one will open. Put your step there, the second one will open. Sometimes you have to crawl to the next one. Sometimes you have to reach your hand to somebody to pull you up. But as long as you are committed to the process, it's only a matter of time you will get there. So it's up to you to make sure you win 2024. If you can open your mic, please unmute and say, I will win 2024. And say it with conviction.
I will
I
win
will win
2024.
2024. I will
I will win
2024.
2024.
I will win
I
2024.
will win 2024.
I will win 2024.
I will win
I
2024.
will win 2024.
I will win 2024.
And all the things that we've shared, get going with them. If you have goals, run after them. If you don't, create one. If you have plans, check and optimize. If you don't, create ones. All right. Take action. Find accountability partner. Celebrate your journey. And before you know it, you will be happy that you did. So in the absence of anything else, I think I would like to land this aircraft at this point. It's already after 7. Any final thing from anybody? If you have not joined our Telegram chat, please do. We are trying to be more engaging this year, and there will be different things we are going to be sharing and running with. And like I said, go to our channel, YouTube channel. You can also share that link with your friends. There is a lot of resources there that have been broken into small bits, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, so they are digestible. You should find something there that would encourage and help you in your journey. And before I stop, this next month, we want to start a series on wellness. Wellness, physical wellness, emotional wellness, financial wellness, physiological wellness, nutritional wellness. I think there are 5 or 6 series that we have there that looks at it, because if you are going to win in 2024, aside all of this, you have to be well. So you want to look forward to those series. Don't miss them. You also know somebody who needs to be a part of this, because a lot is going down. And when you see people put up a smile and wear their dresses, there is a lot under those hood. So let's reach out and help somebody. This is absolutely free, like you know. We are doing it out of passion. We are doing it out of personal interest. And I'm sure that somebody you know needs to hear about this so they can benefit from it. So don't forget to join us next week, because we will be having another series that will build one on the other. And by the time we're done, we hope we'll have equipped you to be really well in all ramifications. So on that note, I will like to request that you please just stay on for a minute or two just to help complete the survey that's going to show on your screen shortly. And then that will be my parting shot, thanking everybody for coming today, and then trusting that you will act on what you've heard and you will move confidently towards your goal this year. Again, never forget, there's nothing that you know how to do today that you got once. So if you tried something and it didn't work, please do not consider it a failure. Consider it as a learning. Consider it as a learning. It is that learning that leads us to perfection, and we get good at it. Thank you, everybody. And John will put on the survey. Please just hang on a second or two to just complete that survey for us. And hopefully, God sparing our lives, I'll see you in February. Enjoy yourself and have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.